Good afternoon, Natalie Tarry here from Natamatics. I'm going through a algebraic fraction question from the intermediate WJEC paper from November 2023. So this is what students would have sat 2 years ago when they were doing their maths resit. So I've already done one of these for WJEC on YouTube, but I thought I'll go through another one. So hopefully you'll recognise some of the tips and stuff that I gave in the other video. So let's keep it simple. What have we got here? Well, we've got a fraction taking away another fraction. So, and then we're told that that's equal to 9. Well, do you know what? Right now, just totally ignore that equals 9. It is there, but in terms of when we're deciding what steps to do initially, just ignore that and let's just look at these. Now, whenever we're solving, sorry, I didn't make that clear. Okay, so the question was solve this. So when we've got solve and there's a letter in there, what does that mean? It means that we've got to find the value of x. So at the end, we're going to have, and I know you can't see it, I'm going to put it off screen. We're going to have something at the end that says x equals, and there will be one value there. If you had an x squared in there, there would be two values for x, potentially. Those values could be repeated, but on the whole, there will be two values. Now, here we've got a fraction and then another fraction. Our answer is just x. It's not x over something. Yes, the answer could be a fraction, but ultimately, what we are doing is we are stripping away everything from the left-hand side of the equal sign to just leave a single x. I'm going to say that again. On the left-hand side of the equal sign, you've got letters and numbers. We are going to systematically strip away everything so that we're leaving the x that's on its own on the bottom down there. How we do that is based on always doing the opposite for what a particular number or letter is doing at the moment. Okay, and we'll go through that step by step now. So when we've got two fractions and there's algebra there, it's an algebraic fraction, the first thing we're going to do is multiply through by the numbers on the bottom, those denominators. Because if we multiply everything initially by, say, 3, in fact, let's do that. If we multiply everything by 3, remember, if we do that, we've got to do the same to both sides. The power of the equal sign means that that's the same as that, as in the whole of that's the same as 9. So therefore, whatever we do to that, we've got to do to the 9 to keep that balance. So when we multiply this, just this particular fraction there, that goes, that 3. And then we're just left with what is on the in the numerator. So that's 10x plus 2. Then the next one is, so we've got takeaway, and then we've got 3 lots of that fraction there. Because remember, we have to do multiply everything by 3. I have no idea why I stuck another bracket on there. Didn't need it. And then on the right hand side, we've got 9 take away 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, I'm actually just going to write that out again. So I'm not doing any more calculations. All I'm doing is just getting rid of that bracket because, again, I'm trying to make it as simple as I can. Yeah, I can't change the difficulty of the topic or the question, but let's at least add brackets in when we don't really need them. Right then. So we've still got a fraction in here, haven't we? It's got a denominator of a 5. So to cancel out a denominator of a 5, what do? We multiply by 5. Okay, but remember, we have to multiply everything by 5. Because remember, the power of that equals sign means whatever we do to anything on this side, we have to do to that side as well. Otherwise, the balancing doesn't work and that equal sign no longer has the power that it does. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do these one step at a time. I'm trying to stick to the same colour for my working out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 lots of this bit first. But I'm not going to do the actual working out. I'm just going to say I am going to multiply that bit by 5. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is we're then going to look at that term in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of cover up everything else there. So all I'm going to do is multiply that minus 3 and then the 7x minus 3 over 5. I'm going to multiply that bit by 5. Now, if I multiply all of this by 5, what happens? That goes. So all we're left with is, because that's why we were multiplying 3 by 5, wasn't it? To get rid of that divide by 5. So that's it. That's what that's done. It's got rid of that. But at the same time, we've also had to do other things in there as well. So 27 times 5. If it's a non-calculator paper and you're like, how do you do that? Just put the calculation down here. So 5 sevens, 35. Remember, I've been doing this a long time, so mine will be a bit quicker. 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 3, 13. So we know that that is 135. Okay. Have we solved the equation yet? No, but that's okay. There's no race. So what we're going to do now is we're going to think, well, what maths can I do with what's in front of me? So obviously just ignore that bit there. Look at what we've just done so far. Have we answered the question yet? No, because we haven't got x on its own yet. We've still got a few other bits on the left-hand side of that equal sign, haven't we? So, okay, let's look what we can do with it. Well, we've got brackets and we've got a number multiplying. So just a quick reminder, when there's a number outside brackets, we multiply everything inside the bracket by whatever is outside. So I'm just going to put those in there. So I'm just going to deal with that bit now. What I highly recommend when you're doing this is just take one step at a time and not worry about going too far ahead too quickly, or worrying, oh, I still don't think I'm going to get the answer, or this is going to be wrong, can't do this. And I know there'll be plenty of you that will happen with. I sometimes do that when I'm looking at a question I've not done before, well, probably not done for a long time, maybe a topic, particularly A-level. If I don't do as much A-level tutoring, I find sometimes that it's a topic, I'm like, okay, what were the things I need to know on this? What are the rules? What are the little things I need to watch out for? And as I'm going through it myself, I'm there like, oh, is this right? And as long as I know I followed the right rules, then it's all right. I have to stop what I'm doing when I'm talking, because otherwise I will likely make an avoidable error. So I'm just going to put that out there just to show that's different. So we've got 5 times 10x, which is 50x. We've got 5 times plus 2, which is plus 10. Then we've got minus 3, negative 3 times 7x. So that's negative 21x. So you deal with the sign, then you deal with the number, then you deal with the letter. Okay, break it down like that. Then you've got a negative 3 times a negative 3. So that is a positive 9 equals 135. Okay, so we've got a few less numbers now. So what can we do with what's in front of us? And I want you, when you're doing that, whether that's revising or whether you're actually in an exam situation, I want you to keep asking yourself those questions. When you've got something to look at, have I answered the question yet? What can I do with what's in front of me? And what do I know about it? So always keep addressing that as you're going through. Now, we have got things that have got X in them. Yeah, we've got some terms with X's in them. So all I've done there is just highlighted them because I've got 50 of this number, I don't know what it is, and I'm taking away 21 of that number, I don't know what it is. So all together here, I can combine those or collect like terms, as you've probably been taught at school, and that is 21, 30, so 29x. Okay. Then, now anyone who knows me knows what I'm like with me and my coloured pens. Any excuse to buy stationery. I've got about 10 shops worth in my room. Okay, that's probably not the best colour for the screen, but that's okay. So we've got plus 10 plus 9. So that is plus 19. So you've got a positive 10 and you're adding 9 to it, you get 19. And on the right-hand side of that equal sign, let's not forget what's there, is 135. Okay. So on this question, yeah, the numbers aren't necessarily little and, even numbers counting up in twos or what have you, but that's okay. Provided we follow rules that we've learnt all the way through, have confidence that the numbers will all simplify and get smaller as we work through it, okay? And just check as you're going through for any avoidable errors that do creep in. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're still on X on its own. That's what I need on its own. What's in the way? You're getting close to the dating game now. Oh, for those who've never experienced my dating game with algebra. Now, I need to get rid of that 29. I also need to get rid of that plus 9. Because remember, I want X on its own. X is the one that's got the shining light on the, focus all on me. Everything else can just bog off to the other side. So to put it bluntly, it could be worse. So I've got to get rid of that 19 and we've got to get rid of that 29. Which one are you going to do first? Well, the 29 is multiplying the x. We don't show multiply in algebra, it's just the notation. That's how we write that in algebra. Now, they're attached to each other. Imagine they've got a bit of a thing going. You don't want to separate them two yet. No, there will be tears. So therefore, you've got your hanger on here. The plus 19 came along a little bit later in the game. So, they're not as attached anymore. They're not attached, it's just adding on. Or it could have been subtracting. Okay. But it's not, it's adding. So how are we going to get rid of a plus 19? We do the opposite, and that is we subtract 19. And someone often says to me, how do we know it's negative? What do we do? Well, imagine that you started off with that 29x, and then you added 19. Well, how do you undo that adding 19? Well, you need to take it away. And then suddenly you'll be left with nothing. Oh, well, the 29x will be there, but that 19 will have gone. So 29x and this whole thing here, so that is going to cancel that out. So you're left with 29x. Oh yeah, again, it's nearly there, isn't it? And then we're going to do 135 take away 19. And I'm just going to do this here just to make sure we're all okay with subtracting and borrowing and etc. So I'm just going to go through one way of subtracting. So 5 take away 9, can't do it, I haven't got enough. So using this method, what we would do is take 1 from the tens. So instead of having 3 tens, we're now going to have 2 tens. And we're going to put one of them with that 5 to make 15, because a 10 and 5 makes 15. So then we've got 15, take away 9, which is 6. Now we're into the tens, which is 2 tens, take away 1 10, or 2, take away 1, which is 1. And then we've got the 1 there. There's nothing here, nothing there. We just assume it's a blank. And that's 1. So that's 1, 1, 6. Okay then. This isn't on calculator paper, but that's okay. So, how are we going to get x on its own? We're nearly there, aren't we? What's extra? What's sort of hanging on again now, but it's attached to that x? We're going to need to move that 29. Now, this is where the tissues come because there's going to be tears. Okay? We're going to have to leave x on its own. But x wants to be on its own because it needs to be on its own to the end of the question. So, how are we going to get rid of that 29? That 29 is multiplying the x. So, therefore, to cancel it out, we need to divide. And again, we do the same to both sides. So, what we've got left here is x, and then on the other side we've got 116 divided by 29. Now, I'm sure that's probably not one of the most obvious ones to know at the top of your head, okay? So, what we're going to do is we're literally going to do 29, just count up in 29s, so let's just do 2 29s. Well, that's nearly 30, okay? Now, 2 lots of nearly 30s is going to be nearly 60. So I need another one. Okay, so adding on another nearly 60, another number which is nearly 30 onto something that's nearly 60 is going to be nearly 90. So if we add on another one, and it's just little things that you can do. I'm going to show you a couple of ways of doing this now. The answer is actually 4. I can tell you the answer's 4 because I saw it. When I looked at that, I could see it was 4 times. But when you're in that exam, well, just 29 is close to 30. So if you were to say, well, okay, 30 plus 30 is 60. If I add another one, that makes it 90. If I add another one, it makes it 120. Oh, I need 116. So if I take 4 off, oh, 29, 29, 29, 29. Oh, that works. But if you can't see things in that way, and that's okay, just keep adding numbers up. So what would 2 29s be? Then another one, and then another one. So just to clarify, 4 9s are 36. And then you're going to carry the 3. And then you've got 4 lots of 2 makes 8. Plus the 3 is 11. So there you go. So 4 lots of 29 will be 116. So therefore, 116 divided by 29 is 4. There is your answer. Now, so don't be put off by the fact that maybe these numbers, you might think, oh, it's got to be wrong because there's 29 in there. This is a hard question. I told Natalie I can't do these questions. I'm like, okay, just do one step at a time. Trust that when it's a non-calculator paper, generally these will be, if you get numbers like that coming out, there will be a whole number answer pretty much most of the time. So literally just add up, use a bit of common sense and think, well, do I add 2, do 3, etc. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, in the same video, I am actually going to do this question again, but like I've done before, rather than doing it multiplying by 3 and then multiplying by 5, what happens if you multiply these two numbers together? You get 15. If you multiply something by 3 and then by 5, ultimately you're multiplying it by 15 in one go. Just here, you're just splitting it out into 2 steps. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to do that question again, but show you how you will still get the same answer. Okay? The numbers are just a bit bigger, okay? But you're still going to get the same answer. So you decide which one you feel more comfortable with doing, knowing what your arithmetic is like, especially in an exam situation, okay? Right then. So we want to get rid of these denominators, okay? So we want something that is all on one line with no fraction in there at all. So if I multiply through by those two numbers together, that means I've got to multiply everything, that includes in the middle term as well, everything by 15. Now, if I were to multiply everything there by 15, I'm actually going to put that step in. Now, this is more for information purposes, really, just so you can see what happens. So I'm going to multiply the second one by 15. I'm just splitting each term out, each part of the fraction, just so you can see how it works the way it does. Now, when we've got, you're multiplying something by 15 and then you're dividing by 3, what's the end effect? Multiply by 15 divided by 3. In theory, you can just cancel those out and make that 5, because 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay? Let's have a look at the next fraction. You've got 15, you're multiplying by 15, and then you're dividing by 5. So that's the equivalent of multiplying by 3, because 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. Okay? And then you've got the 9/15s, which we'll deal with in a minute. So on the next line, you've got 5 lots of 10x plus 2 minus 3 lots of 7x minus 3 equals then 9 lots of 15. So that's 90 plus 45. Just a little way we can do it. 9 times 10 and 9 times 5. So we're just adding those two together then. We can do the rest of that in a minute. Okay, so when we've got brackets, as we did earlier in the video, we're just going to multiply everything by every term. That's meant to be a times because I'm doing it quickly. So 50, so what we got here, 50x plus 10 minus 21x, be careful, plus 9 equals 135. You might recognise some of this from before. Then you've got, look at the x's, we've got 29 x's altogether, plus 19. So we look at the numbers and the terms set. So the terms in terms of, no pun intended there, things that have got the letter in, 50x and 21x. And then we look at the numbers separately. I don't mean the numbers in front of the x's or the y, whatever letter we've got. But we just look at those separately. And then you've got 135. Don't forget what's on the other side. So then all we're going to do is we're going to take 19 off both sides because it's the hanger-on. It's not got a thing going with the with the x at the moment, so that's fine. It's safe to remove them. Remove it. And then we're going to divide both sides by 29. So you end up with x is equal to 4. Maths with a smile, as always. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Have a good day.